Hello and welcome to the Passion Show. My name is Phil, and joining me as always is my co-host Kyle.
Hello.
And this week we have two very special guests. We have Rosie and we also have Laura.
So in today's episode, we're talking about the process of filmmaking. Rosie and Laura, they're currently in the process of making a film called Kev the Corpse. Rosie is the director, and she also wrote the film. And Laura edits the film, and she's also the producer.
Yeah, so before we actually go into the actual film itself, because I want to know more about that, I think we'll just go into like how you both got into filmmaking. So do you both have like a particular moment when you realised you had this like passion?
I was just like in secondary school. I mean, I did sixth form and I did very generic course. It was just like sociology and stuff, and then I just realised it wasn't for me. And then I went to college and did film and media, and I just absolutely loved it, and I just love doing film the most. So that's when I started looking to do it at uni, and it's just I love it more.
Yeah, there wasn't a very particular moment for me either. It kind of just developed over time, and as I just liked making stories, and that's how it came about because I wanted to become a scriptwriter. So to go into that, I just like making stories and watching films, and that's how it came about for me.
Yeah, so your entry point sort of came from university and sort of being allowed to do what really makes you passionate and stuff like that.
Definitely.
So for the film itself and like for any other filmmaking endeavors, what are your like key inspirations from like film history and stuff like that? Do you have films that you sort of always go back to and films that like really make you passionate about like filmmaking?
To be honest, I watch films. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. But like, I like to just appreciate it. But then when I'm doing my own things, I don't take that much influence because I just like. I mean, it is good to do that, and sometimes if I'm like struggling, I will watch things to get inspiration. But I think it's easier to just be original with things.
Yeah, I think going like further than just something purely inspiring it can just like if you watch something, it can prompt you to like want to make things like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be like an exact copy. It'll be subconsciously there, won't it? Sort of like little influences throughout your life that you're seeing throughout film.
Yeah, I think that was definitely like the case of Kev the Corpse because we watched What We Do in the Shadows, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like the pressure from uni having to come up with ideas as well that
Yeah.
it kind of like pressurizes you, and you kind of lose all your influences and you worry about it. But then me and Laura watched What We Do in the Shadows, and originally the script was mockumentary, kind of based somewhat off that.
Yeah.
But then it just keeps developing and getting further away from like What We Do in the Shadows and influences, and kind of becomes your own thing.
So there was like a basis for what you wanted, but as you started like going through the story and what you wanted to create, it became its own thing, like its own life.
Yeah, it became completely different. But when I watch a film, it's just like, wow, a really funny mockumentary. Let's do that. I know it's like a drama with a bit of comedy. Well, I think it's hilarious.
So what's the plot of the film then?
So Kev is a recently resurrected man who has to adjust to life being a corpse, and he lives with his Christian mother, Marge, who doesn't want to let him out of the house. She keeps him in because she's afraid of what people might do, and she confides in her priest as well, and that's the only man she confides in. But she kind of goes on a journey to learn to accept her son and kind of just live with him naturally and just love him, learn to love him again, even though she's Christian. It's very unholy being a corpse that eats flesh.
Yeah. So does he go around like eating people and?
There are a few.
Spoiler alert.
There are a few murders in that.
So at the very start of the process, how did you start? What was the first step?
Like, are you just sitting there with like a pen and paper and you're like, what's gonna go on this? Like, what is that gonna be our idea? So like, what's like your first processes?
So first it's just coming up with a basic idea for the script and kind of basing off of that. And I think if you want to get into script writing, it's all about feedback and knowing what you want, because you kind of know the characters so much, but other people don't know them as well. So like Laura fed back different things to me, and it kind of developed from that, and it became totally different from what it originally was. And then because our film is a dark comedy and it's based off a corpse and stuff, a lot of we need a lot of props, and there's a lot of like art department and things that go into it.
Wow.
So like you knew you needed like outside help basically, so you had this idea, but you knew you'd need like other people to sort of play into it.
Has been just us for a long time. We definitely like brought a lot of people in for crew, but like props wise, it was all us. Things is like the script was changing all the time, so it's kind of like we'd buy a prop and then it'd be like, oh well, that's cut out of the scene now, so never mind.
Yeah.
But luckily that only happened once, but like actually a couple of times now.
Yeah, because the script was developing like up to like a week before shooting it, just like little bits. But
yeah, we need to get everything prepared. As a producer, I was pretty scared.
Yeah.
I suppose you can sort of keep on rewriting, can't you? Like there's never a stopping point because it could always be better, couldn't it? But you've got to sort
Yeah.
of slow yourself down and allow something to just be what it is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you kept rewriting, you'd just never stop, would you? You'd be
Exactly,
changing
you'd
little
never get
things
to
all the time.
production.
and it changes on set anyway with like actors' ideas and what
Mhm.
crews want to film and stuff, and it's just like it's never going to be what it is in the script to on screen anyway. So
You said something just then, which like I found really interesting, was that you said something about needing to be able to take criticism and take like feedback, and it also seems like what you said then. It has to be a very collaborative experience. So like, what's that been like working with so many people to create like one thing?
it's been great because
Yeah.
like I think we should have done it from the beginning of uni really. But having so many ideas, it really develops it quicker and it just makes a better film overall. Having like the camera, people's interests and their ideas, and then the actors, their different concepts on what it should be, producer, mine, and it's just like everyone's ideas make it what it is. There's no like one sole creator of something.
I feel like the crew of the film can really take it one way or another. Because if you
Yeah.
get a bad crew, it can just be like a total disaster if you just don't click, if you just don't like have the same ideas, if you just totally clash. But it sounds like you've sort of really brought like a good crew together.
Yeah, we got like some people we knew, and then actors wise, we'd been working with one of them previously, so we got on really well with everybody, and everyone was like just as passionate as we were about it. So there was like long days on set and making sure everything was perfect, and I'm really happy with our cast and crew, definitely.
So I assume this isn't your first film as well, because you just said you've worked with actors before.
Yeah.
So how many other films have you like made?
Quite a lot in uni. So we're like in our last year, I think we make like I'd say about three each
yeah.
year. Yeah.
But for our last year, we did a research and development unit in which we kind of like build on the idea first. So we did like a test Kev the Corpse kind of thing where I tested, because it was a mockumentary, like scripted and unscripted comedy. But it was quite awkward having a not experienced actor, and it's hard doing comedy in scripts. But we worked with the same actor in the research and development unit as we did in the actual film. So that was helpful doing that, experimenting and firstly.
Yeah, like we worked with him like in the R&D, and he was really great. So it was good to like keep him on and like know the actor, so we can just talk to him about whatever and needs no personal feelings, or if like he knows that we're just being critical and we just want it good. I think it's just good to work with people that you know.
So is this the first film that you've both worked on together, or have you worked on other projects in the past?
Work together all the damn time, and we live together, and we're best friends. She can't get enough of me.
Okay.
She can't wait for this film to be finished.
When June comes. Nah, it's like we work together a lot, but I think when it's hard working with your friends as well, because having to get criticism off and clashing ideas with that, you need to kind of be good at working together and kind of have respect for each other's ideas and work off of it rather than being offended by it.
Yeah, you need to understand about like the greater good. Like you need to be able
Yeah.
to take the criticism from your friends, and you also need to be able to give it, and also like for the film to benefit from it. Because if you're not harsh on someone and the film comes out, shit.
Yeah.
Then,
I
like,
should have been harsh.
Yeah, it's something that you could have avoided. So you need to be able to like push your sort of feelings away to
It's not personal.
benefit the film. Yeah.
I need to get harsher on Phil.
That's getting cut out.
Yeah, no, luckily, like, we both had a very similar vision for the film, and it would just be like, one day she turns around and she's like, oh yeah, it's not a mockumentary anymore, it's a drama. And I'm like, oh, okay, chill. But, like, I'm just like, you know what, the script is so much better, so it's, like, good. I'm not that sad by the transformation, like, it's changing for the better, definitely. But it's just good because we had very similar ideas for a film, and, like, if something changes, if it works, then that's it. It was sticking to it.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
good that we live together and we can just like talk
Yeah.
about the film just in conversations when an idea pops up. We say, what do you think about this? And then we're like, yeah, that's good, let's add that. It just develops a lot easier and
The
flows a
amount
lot
of
better.
times I'd come in at 2 a.m. and I'm like, Rosie, I don't think this call sheet's right.
So the fact that like you can talk about it like casually, like within your own house, means that so much more time has been put into it by you
Yeah.
guys
Mhm.
than what would normally happen. Because like you're best friends, so
Yeah.
you're talking about it just
All the time.
regularly, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
like,
so that's fascinating.
It's in your head all the time.
yeah, the work never ends, but it also doesn't feel like work all the time because it's like just
Yeah.
chatting with
Because
your
it
mate.
is like, oh, it's like so exciting for a film to happen as well. So it's just like, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, wow, it's a really exciting project. What can we do to make it the best it can be like?
So it seems like the project's going like really well, like from what I'm sort of getting from you. But have you had any like really disastrous experiences with filmmaking over the
Oh.
past few years? Of the like, do
Yeah.
you have any moments where you were just like totally like confused?
I think this year we've took it more seriously than
Yeah.
others. Like the past two, we were just like, oh, let's just try and get a good grade, I suppose. And it's like we don't do any script drafts. We just kind of go off of that. And it's also the personal thing where we kind of just let people who we're working with kind of go their way and kind of don't say your opinions about it. But we took this one a lot more seriously.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we've worked so much harder on this film than we have like any of our. But they've given us like more time to do it in as well. And it's just like, this is our last graduation film. Like, it needs to be amazing. But the other ones, like, it would be like, oh, sound doesn't work. Oh, we'll just cut out that scene. It's fine. But like now, it's like, no, everything has to be perfect. Like, the films before haven't been great, but it's just good to know, oh, what can go wrong and how to do it. So it's just like all that practice has come to action now.
Yeah, it sounds like the experiences of those past films have sort of culminated in this one. Because
Yeah.
when you talk about this one, it doesn't sound like a university project.
It genuinely looks professional from what I've seen as well.
Oh, thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much.
It's just yeah. We'll also leave a link to the trailer in the
Yeah.
description as well, so be sure to like have a look at that.
Yeah, that'll
But-
be coming out on the 3rd of May. May's for next month, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like
3rd of May, that'll be available.
We'll also
yeah.
leave the link to your guys' Instagram so people can sort of keep up with it, can't they?
Mhm, yeah.
But it definitely sounds like something that you're just sort of doing out of your own want to create films. It
Yeah.
doesn't just sound like you're going for a grade, which and I think that'll probably show in the film because you can tell you're passionate about it and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely the hardest thing we've worked on, like, but it's been fun to do, so.
yeah, we've had like with this year we've talked about our projects with other students on the course as well, and then we have Lauren Dunn, who's a lecturer, helping us and also giving feedback on the script. And it's just because we've taken it a lot more seriously, we've just put a lot more thought into it, and it just worked out for the better. It's not just a uni project, and it's something we're
Yeah.
passionate about, which is why we're in filmmaking, isn't it?
Yeah, like the film is so much more important to me than my grade. Like, I could get a bad grade. I don't think I will because you're right, the film is amazing. But, but like, if I did get a bad grade, as long as I've got a film that I'm happy with and will get sent off to festivals and be successful, then that's really more what I care about. That's what I put my time in for.
Well, speaking of like film festivals, it seems like you're coming to like the end of the project right now. So what's like the plan afterwards? So you submit is it like what's your plan there? What do you want to do with it? Where do you want it to go?
We are definitely submitting it to Home Cinema for our Move Film Festival there.
Yeah.
That's 10th of June.
Yeah, 10th of June.
We're definitely submitting it to that. So hopefully it gets in there, and then we're going to look for other festivals that relate to the genre, because it's quite like a specific genre as well. It's like, I don't want to send it to a festival. It's like just short film, but it's like, I don't know, I think we just need to find the right festivals to send it off to, because that's like
Yeah.
more money from the budget. So I'm like, I want to send it off to ones that are more likely to be successful, definitely.
Yeah, because for people who aren't in the know, you have to pay to send your film to a film
Exactly,
festival, and even if it doesn't get in, you have to pay like a fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Move Film Festival is good. It's our course that kind of creates the film festival, and we're
Yeah.
having programmers come in and choose a selection of films from the course. Whether ours will be chosen or not, we don't know, and then it will be showcased at home. So it's all like,
An
there's no
awards
specific
night
genre.
and
Yeah.
So much stuff we've got planned for that, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and yeah, we have industry professionals coming in for the awards night and judging each one of our films and talking about that. So it's good that there's no specific genre for this film festival. We kind of just have a diverse range of films, and seeing what everyone over the course has made is so like different.
It is so different. Like, to go to that film festival at home will just be like one completely like dramatic film to then Kev the Corpse. Like,
But it kind of like it must feel good like creating something that is different, that isn't just like your generic, drama. Is that like was that key in like the process? Did you want to make something different?
I definitely think so.
Yeah, I think we just didn't want to make something basic, and I think that's just more of our taste in films, really. Like, we like different like British comedies, and we kind of like the fantasy dark comedy aspect of it. So I don't know, it just kind of came about like that. But we like to make something different.
What we do in the shadows, weren't it?
Yeah,
that started it all off. Before then, the films we've done have been quite generic.
Yeah, I guess if it's last year, why not try something different and something that you're interested in and go all out for it, even though it might be hard making it.
So we know what you want to do with like the film going forward. So what's the plan next for you guys when you finish uni? Like, are you going to keep making films?
Oh, this question.
What is the plan?
That's the heaviest question I've ever
Any
heard.
filmmaker know what they're going to do next? Like,
well, I want to become a scriptwriter, so I'm going to apply to National Film and Television School and try and get into there. But because film industry, although it's like a great industry to be in, it's a really hard industry to break into. So having different groups online, and it's also great being in uni as well, because there's so many people who already have connections as well, and you work with them and they know you, and they will like say, I've worked with this person before, let's bring them in again to work on this project. It's good collaboration, and it'll help us in future projects.
I want to produce. I know how I'll get there, but I'm good, so maybe.
So, if someone wants to get into filmmaking, what advice would you give to them?
I would say that you need to. What's more important than uni, if you chose not to go to uni, is to just get experience, get those like unpaid runner jobs, make people like you, turn up and do good jobs. So when people think, oh yeah, that person was good, I'm working on this new thing we could do with someone to do this, and they were really good to work with. And it's just like getting people to know you and know that you're a good hard worker, and then you'll want to work for them again. And then that's how I think you'd be going up the ladder. I wouldn't know because I'm very young and not up there myself, but that's how I imagine it would work.
You're doing what you want to do, like right now, aren't you? Because you're making this film and you're enjoying it. So is university like a good option for people who want to do filmmaking? Because you have like the access to the tools now, don't you, to create films?
I think it's good learning process. I feel like it depends what you want to go into. If you're very like into like camera work and stuff, you could do that without uni. I feel like you could go straight to learning about it and going on set professionally and learning it that way. But I think with things like script writing, for example, I think uni has been great to learn about that. And for me, producing, I feel like also it has been great. I feel like I've developed a lot like over uni. I think it just depends what you want to do. I think if it is more technical, it's best to just get in the real world.
As much like experience as you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure if uni is like the right option or if there is a right option, but I just think uni is like a good opportunity. Like, you don't get many, like, be able to live in Manchester, which is like one of the biggest places in the UK for like film and TV, and it's just a good opportunity to be on a course with so many people, and filmmaking is all about networking, so having lecturers and who give you opportunities to go to these things as well. It's just a good option if you kind of don't know where to start and you kind of just don't know how to break in, and you just want a couple or a few more years to figure it out a bit more and see if that's actually what you want to go in. But otherwise, if you know films, what you want to do, and if you have connections to get in there and the drive, then you don't need uni, but it just depends on you.
So, sorry.
Go on.
I think it would like definitely be like if I could go back, I'd probably have like a year or two before uni to figure out what I wanted to do. Because I only really this year figured out, I actually do enjoy producing, even though it's like bloody stressful. But like it was only this year I figured out. But if I figured that out before I went to uni and like just had a bit more experience and knowledge, then I could have made more from year 1 and 2 definitely. So I think it's a good idea for people to just take some time out and figure out their plan and what they want to do.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the main things that people need to do is just sort of take their time and don't rush into anything and really think about what aspect of filmmaking you want to do and how best to approach it. Like if you want a more theoretical basis, then university is a good option.
Yeah.
But if you're into like a technical side, like camera work or sound, then it's better to be on the set.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's your best way of learning. Because you can read like lecture slides all you want, but you're not doing it, are you? You don't know
Not
how to
really.
turn. You don't know how to turn the camera on, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Explain to us what a producer does.
You just have to organise everything. Everything has to be organised, and if something is wrong, it's pretty much your fault.
My limited knowledge of producing, with my limited knowledge, all I know is that it does seem mad stressful because you are
Yeah.
juggling like every part of the production, aren't you?
Yeah, like with this film, it was like we had Marge, who was a brilliant comedy character. So it's like we had to make sure we get a really good actress for her, and luckily we found one that was perfect for the role. And then, like, I mean, obviously we have a zombie, and my main worry with the film was we're doing a student zombie film, and like, you see these student zombie films where it's just they don't look very zombie, they don't sound very zombie, they don't act very zombie. So luckily we got lucky with Josh as well. He was really good at doing that, and he was really enthusiastic about it. We was like, can we put contacts in? Yeah. Can we just put this fake body myth? Yeah. Can we have blood capsules? Yeah. He was just happy with everything, so that was really good. That like we had someone enthusiastic to make it more zombie.
I've seen that you got like full on like makeup artists and stuff like that to
Yeah.
work on the makeup.
We went good with her as well. She helped us out a lot. Like the zombie makeup looked incredible. And yeah, it was a lot of organising, because then like we had to make sure everything was perfect for the zombie, and then it was props and stuff. We had like, she was a Christian woman, so we've got like pictures of the Last Supper and stuff around the house. And luckily, I found a cottage that had like everything very perfect for Marge, but we just had to add in the little Christian things, and then like her Bibles and stuff. And
It's crazy how much effort goes into like the minute details as
Yeah.
well that most people wouldn't even think about, and how much like how long is the film itself?
7 to 10 minutes is supposed to be. It's a
But
bit of that right now.
Only
many
about
months
10,
and
yeah,
months of
11.
work have gone into it just for like 7 to 10
I
minutes.
know. That's what I think sometimes. It's like you've like, especially as a producer, you've put in so much work, and then like when it's filmed, you're like, oh wow, I put in all this work just to get something on a screen. But
Yeah.
like also, if it looks good, it does feel so rewarding.
Well, I was gonna say that to sort of like wrap things up, because you've put in a lot of effort at this point, and hopefully you'll be like sending it to film festivals and stuff. But do you find it rewarding, like when you have your finished product? Is it rewarding, like the amount of work that you have to put in? Is it worth it?
When it's good. Sometimes when it comes back and it's bad, and you're like, wow, I did spend a lot of time with this, and there's so many things I could have fixed. But with this one, we have really like thought, what could go wrong? How can we solve that now? How can we make it perfect? And like we have got the cut together. We just need to cut correct and stuff. And I'm really happy with what we've got. And it is like rewarding to watch it and think like, wow, this is literally just us two that have done this.
Plus others. But yeah. But seeing it go from like script to screen is really amazing. To have written it in my room and then having so many like cast and crew work on it and see it come to life is very rewarding. And hearing like people come into the edit suites on our cast and watch snippets of it and give their opinions, and it's just very nice to hear people's feedback and like appreciate hard work, which is something in filmmaking that you don't really get on other subjects. Like, everyone can appreciate what you've done.
Yeah. So the concept of like something being in your head and then coming onto the screen just sounds like something like really inspiring and something like. So I think we'll sort of wrap it up there. Thank you to Kyle for being my co-host.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, and thanks to Rosie and Laura for
Thank
coming on
you,
and
thank you.
talking about their film. I know I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, same.
But
should be.
we'll also leave a link to your guys' Instagram and also the trailer when that
Yeah.
comes out. So look forward to that. But if you have any passions yourself that you want us to talk about on the podcast, leave it in the comments and we'll be happy to talk about it.
If you like to come on the show yourself, hit us up in the DMs.
Yeah, if you want to come on the show to talk about your passion, then feel free. We'd love to have you on. But other than that, we'll see you next time.
Have a good day.
Bye.